Good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing out there in Final Cut TV and Coffee Land? We're going to be live here in just 1 minute, but I have to do some, as usual. I have to do some maintenance, spreading out the cheer around different social media sites and all that stuff. So we're going to talk about Final Cut Pro, what we think is going to happen in 2024, anything else you want to talk about related to post-production, etc., etc. So let's do this while I got you here. Let me do this. And there we are. We'll get ready to go. Share, there. We had a lot to talk about, as usual, Saturday morning, Final Cut Pro, Final Cut TV and Coffee, the usual setup. Let's see what else we have. Just ordered a new espresso machine. We'll put that post up in a minute. I think that's probably enough. We will be back as usual. Let me just check on one thing. Let me just check this. And we will be back in a few minutes. See you in a few minutes. We are live. The miracle of the good old internet, isn't it? Isn't it incredible? I have a house in Carroll County, Maryland. I have a studio, upstairs studio, and a downstairs studio. And I can broadcast to the world. It's like a TV station. I can broadcast to the entire world. Absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. Doing great. Had just ordered a new espresso machine as my old one has broken down. I have a couple of espresso machines, but as I make my coffee so strong, I make it double big scoops. I make espresso every once in a while for some special stuff. Good morning, editing and enjoying your live stream. Our live stream. Thank you very much. Let me just check on one thing. I see something there. This is what we got overnight. We got some good old snow. Now, not that much. I think about 3 inches. Looks like about 3 inches. I was outside early this morning. Sean Beckner says, good morning, everyone. Absolutely. Glad to have everybody join in as usual. We already got some thumbs up. That's a good way to start the morning on our live streams. So one of the things, well, we're going to talk about Final Cut Pro. We're going to talk about that. What is that new AI thing that's everybody's all in a tizzy about? Because it makes videos just with the text prompt. What is that? What is that called? Somebody can remind me what that is. But in the meantime, I'm going to still edit with Final Cut Pro, especially since it's got the good old scrolling timeline, which I found necessary after all these years. We finally got a hold of it. They finally released it. It's been in there for the entire time, but they finally turned it on at the Creative Summit. Final Cut Pro 10.7, finally. Thank you for the thumbs up. It is very much appreciated. There it is. Tyler says, OpenAI Sora. So what is the Sora? Does that have any specific meaning? Any Sora? I'm not sure what that stands for. Is that just what the developers called it? Doesn't have any meaning specifically. So I don't think, I'm going to just check over here. Facebook. I am going to check over here. I'll make a comment. And see if it comes through. It's supposed to. Not yet. Not yet. Did not come through yet. Nope. Did not come through yet. It's supposed to come through. Oh, there we go. There we go. So we got our Facebook comments. I like to check the comments. We got plenty of YouTube comments. There's our Facebook comment. Now let me try one more. Let's see here. Streaming, social. I have a social one. Let's just try this over here to see if we are indeed. If I can comment from X. Oh, that's another post. I don't want to do another post. I want to comment on it. This is the weird thing about X is it's hard to get to. Post your reply. X. Let's see if X comments come through as they're supposed to. I think we did this last week and it worked out pretty darn well. So I have confidence that we're going to see some nice additions to Final Cut Pro in 2024. Features. And I don't mean just Vision Pro. I don't mean just editing video for the Vision Pro. That's not what I'm talking about. X test, so that didn't come through yet. See, the problem is I don't think that I'm on. There it is. I don't think that I'm actually on the broadcast. I think that's the problem. I'm on some kind of a page. Getting to the actual broadcast. So I don't see a way to comment there. It's interesting. Well, whatever. I just wanted to check. I'm going to post this over there. Come on. Over there in our Twitter feed, X feed. Make sure everybody over there can watch it. Just bear with me 1 minute. And we'll post that to make sure everybody can see. It's weird. I don't. Yeah, I can see your comment X, also commented on X, but it's not coming through to the stream because I'm not. I can see the comment, but I'm not sure if I'm commenting on the live stream, which I don't think I am. That's the problem. Broadcast. Scroll to top. That's the problem. I'm not commenting on the actual live stream itself. Anyway, so there's a couple of new things that are happening around here. One of the things that I'm getting. Let me pull this up. I have my notes over here in notes. Of course, notes are in notes. Let me pull those up. Notes are in notes. And I have a couple of new things that I'm working on around here. I got a very, very cool setup coming this week, and I'm going to be posting a YouTube video about it. A live streaming setup that's very compact. And I'll post a video once I get it up. Let me see if is that it? Yes, that is it. So one of the things, let me pull this up, that I'm going to be getting this week. Our friend Tyler says, because Vision Pro has such an emphasis at Apple, spatial video support in Final Cut Pro implies a lot of features not only for Final Cut Pro, but Motion as well. Think true 3D picture-in-picture graphics, etc. I hope so. What I don't want to see is a repeat, thank you very much for the thumbs up, of us waiting for 2 years or 3 years because they're working on the iPad version and they forgot about the Mac desktop editors. Final Cut Pro for the desktop. I don't want to see that for the next 2 years. Oh, we're working on the Vision Pro version. We can't give you Mac people any feature updates. I don't expect that, but that was a contributing factor when the iPad version was being developed. They took resources away from the Mac desktop version. So when are we expecting Final Cut Pro 10.7.2? And what are we expecting in that? Originally, I was expecting some Vision Pro stuff, but I thought it would come out around Vision Pro. That is not the case. Obviously, it did not come out around Vision Pro time. But between now, I do expect 10.72 between now, which is the middle of February, and NAB. I do expect 10.7.2 to come out, and I do expect features. If they did 10.7.2 as a bug fix, I still expect a feature update between now and NAB. Have not heard anything about NAB yet at this point. Whether the Final Cut Pro team is going to be there. This is what I wanted to talk about. This is something that I just purchased. I purchased the Action 4, the DJI Action 4. Now, the reason I got the Action 4, there's a lot of reasons. Number one, I know the Insta, whatever that one is a little bit better. It has some AI stuff. Same sensor, but it's bigger than the Action 4. I don't want a bigger camera. I want a smaller camera. The Action 4 is just the same size as the GoPro. So I ordered the Action 4. I got it for $239 as a refurbished by DJI on the DJI site. So I got the Action 4 it hasn't got here yet, but it's coming, for $239, which is that's a steal. Now, I don't really need it right now specifically, but I want it for NAB when I go to NAB. I want it for there. Anyone having an issue with imported files not copying despite correct import settings? I constantly have missing files. When I look at show project contents, they're identified as alias. How are you getting them into Final Cut Pro? I don't use the import window in Final Cut Pro. I copy my files to a file in the to a folder, a master folder in the Finder. No matter what the source. If it's from my iPhone, I copy them to this master folder. If they're from a card, I copy them to the master folder. The master project folder, where the library is going to live and all the media is going to live. And then when I create the library, it goes inside that same master folder. If I want to organize my files, rename my files, I will do that before I bring them into the library. So I have a Finder, I have a folder in the Finder with all my media. I've had too many problems over the years with Final Cut Pro managing the media. I don't care about a small project. I'm not talking about a small project. I'm talking about average, mid-sized to larger projects. Everything's done in the Finder before I make the Final Cut Pro library. So I have seen problems with media going offline and disappearing, even though it's there, especially with iPhone footage, and especially if you use the import window to import the iPhone footage. I can import it, everything's copied over, no problem. Close it, come back the next day, all the iPhone footage is read. All of it's offline. The files are there, but somehow Final Cut Pro has lost the link to them. That's why I don't use the import window. Have you experienced some of the problems F-Stoppers had when they tested the DJI Mic 2? F-Stoppers review is complete BS. It's complete BS. I'll tell you why. They're using a TRRS lapel microphone that DJI has specifically told them not supported on the DJI Mic 2. All their problems, as far as I'm concerned, is because they're not following what they're supposed to be. Don't use a TRRS microphone. Use a TRS microphone. The old ones maybe supported it. The new ones do not. So they're plugging this thing in, unplugging it, doesn't work on one, doesn't work on the other, this, that, and the other. You're using the wrong microphone, the wrong connector. That's your problem. Use the mic as it was designed. I have no problem so far whatsoever with my DJI Mic 2. Now I've had problem with my DJI Mic 1. I had to send one of them back right before the warranty ran out. One of the jacks in the microphone, this little 3.5 millimeter jack here, became loose. So when I plugged the mic in and out, it became intermittent. So I had to send it back. They fixed it under warranty, but it takes you a couple of weeks, 10 days. So it's a little aggravating, but I did have a problem with that. But by the same token, with my Rode Wireless Go 1, no, I think it was the 2s, the Rode Wireless Go 2, I had to send mic back 3 times for the same problem. 3 separate times for the same problem. The problem was when the mic was fully charged, battery was fully charged. This is my Rode Wireless Go 2. It would discharge within 1 minute and 30 seconds. It would completely drain the battery within 1 minute and 30 seconds. From fully charged to back to zero battery, 1 minute and 30 seconds. I videotaped it and sent it to them. Of course, they replaced it each time. And I finally got one that didn't do that, but I'm not sure. All these mics can have problems, but the F-stopper video, I watched that. No, don't use a microphone that's not supported. That's what the problem is. Jim Eds said, I agree. I have to relink files copying to the library. I've seen that problem for years in Final Cut. I create things in the Finder. First off, I create things in the Finder. Then I make a copy on a separate hard drive. Then I make a copy on a separate hard drive. Before I erase it from my iPhone or wherever camera, I make a third copy. 2 separate copies, 2 separate hard drives, and then if I'm working off either my internal SSD on my MacBook Pro, thank you for the thumbs up, it's appreciated, or my RAID. I have a 56 terabyte RAID 5. Let me see something here. Oh, here we go. Now we got it. Back again. Finally. This is something that's in Sonoma. I'll turn those off. I don't want them to keep happening. But I guess you got to turn them on. I thought they were on automatically. Don Stafford, good morning from North Carolina. Absolutely. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for the thumbs up. It's appreciated. I have always used the import window and never had any issues like you. However, I do any file renaming and directory structure in Finder prior to importing. Right. No, I've had problems. Take my word for it. I'm a Final Cut Pro. I'm an Apple certified Final Cut Pro 10 trainer. I am certified by Apple to teach Final Cut Pro. Okay? As a matter of fact, let's go over here and look at this, because that's one of the things that I was talking about. Let me see here. Graphics. There's my DJI Action 4 that's coming shortly. We're going to get that. But look at this. Speaking of training. Okay, so I got my first training. In October 2004. Now, that one was not as an Apple certified trainer. That was just an Apple certified pro. That was the very first one I got. I actually took a class from Abba Shapiro. So that was 2004. That was before Final Cut Pro 10 came out. And the last one I have was July 2018. I got all the training certificates all through those years. How many years was that? 14 years. And I started with being a trainer in 2005. So I started being a trainer in 2005. I went to New York, Apple headquarters in New York. They have a headquarters up there. And I got trainer certification. I was one of the few people that passed that class. We had maybe 15, 16 people. I passed it, and one gentleman from Canada passed it. So we both passed it in the class, so I became a Final Cut Pro Apple certified trainer with Final Cut Pro 10.5. Or Final Cut Pro 5. Sorry, Final Cut Pro 5, not 10.5. And then I kept getting the trainer's recertifications every year. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. It is appreciated. So in any event, I have absolutely had problems. I've had problems with the import window, especially with importing iPhone footage through there. It's just sometimes I'll open the project up and it'll be gone. It'll be the videos won't be there. That's why I always make at least 2 or 3. I make 3 copies before I delete them from my phone. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. It's appreciated. All right, let's turn that back on. Let's thank you for the thumbs up. It is appreciated. Look at those thumbs up. You people are the best. Absolutely. Thank you very much. We're going to talk about this show as well. Darius says, that's great media management import tip. Thank you. My problem started with the latest Final Cut Pro upgrades. SD card imports are no problem. Every other method may or may not work. I don't like the import window. I mean, if you want to do an in and out point, that's kind of handy, but still, I have had problems with it, and especially with my iPhone footage over the years, so I just don't use it anymore. Hello, good morning. Maybe I'll do a tutorial about that, talking about the difference between copying to the library and copying to an external folder. I like renaming my stuff. I like keeping my folders separate with separate names so I can search for it later. I don't like the way Final Cut Pro names media. I always have 3 copies. Our friend Jeff Arbaio, I always have 3 copies of my movie. I have one on my main RAID system, check. One on a backup RAID system, then I send to my mother-in-law's house. And the 3rd backup RAID system. Bit expensive, but I feel safe. They just don't get divorced, Jeff, because if you get divorced, she's going to have a copy of all your media, your mother-in-law. Just a joke, of course. Thanks for the clarification. I am considering the mic. I just need to find out how to connect an SSD and the mic at the same time without having things hanging unmotivated. Well, let me just show you what I do. It's actually not too bad. Let me pull this up. Did I copy that? No, I did not. Let me just go here real quick and I'll show you how to do that. Thank you for the thumbs up. It's appreciated. Look at that. Thank you very much. So that's that. Streaming. Let's go here. I'll show you how to hook up the mic, an SSD, and here we go. I will show you. So let me do this. And I'm not sure how this works. Can I make that full screen? I guess it is full screen as much as it can be. Here's what I do. Here's what I do. This is my movie. So there's a little Crucial X9, 4 terabyte SSD, small rig holder with a clamp, which I really like. This is my DJI 1. Thank you very much for the thumbs. The DJI 1 plugged in to this 4-in-1 USB splitter thing. Belkin 4-in-1 USB-C dock. It works fantastic. So not only do this is on a gimbal. This is on a gimbal, Insta360 gimbal. That's the setup that I use most of the time. So you can absolutely record with 2 microphones. Thank you. 2 microphones. Let me turn that off. Can't keep on. I'll turn that on when I want it, but I don't want it on all the time. Maybe turn that on. Turn it off. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. It is appreciated. We got a lot of people watching this morning. So I have my iPhone 15 Pro Max plugged into a Belkin USB-C dock. In that dock, I'm plugged in my USB-C version of the DJI mic. And the DJI mic plus an SSD, and it all runs fine. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. Thank you very much for tuning in this morning. Absolutely. Import window problems, could it be media specific? No, it's the import window specific. It's the import. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. It's the import window specific. Okay? Because when I use the media from the Finder, no problem. There is no problem importing media by drag and drop from the Finder into Final Cut. The media does not disappear. The media does not become unlinked. It's only when I import iPhone footage with the import window. I just don't do it anymore. I never open that thing. I just don't do it. I have never used iPhone footage, so I can't speak to that. Well, Apple used it in their iPhone 15 Pro program. They used iPhone footage the entire time. Jeff's making crying faces because I told him not to get divorced. Do we think ProRes RAW will ever come to DaVinci Resolve or Blackmagic RAW to Final Cut Pro? Thank you very much for the thumbs up. I think, yes. I think at some point it will. I don't know what the problem is because Blackmagic and Apple work together on a lot of different things. Apple used the Blackmagic camera app last fall for the iPhone 15 for their Apple event. They used the Blackmagic app. They did not use Filmic Pro, which is completely end of life as far as I'm concerned. They used the Blackmagic camera app. They've also supported the Blackmagic eGPUs, right, as well. They mentioned, the Final Cut Pro team at the Creative Summit mentioned DaVinci Resolve by name. And they said they really think it's a great NLE. The Final Cut Pro team said that. So there's no animosity for most places with Apple and Blackmagic. I'm not sure if there's a technical reason. Well, either one of them should tell us if that's the case. If it's politics, that's ridiculous. You're both big boys, and shake hands and get ProRes RAW on Blackmagic and get Blackmagic RAW in Final Cut Pro natively. I saw that program. It was amazing. I think, which do you mean which program did you see? You're talking about the Apple event, or you're talking about, I'm not sure what you're talking about. But anyway, that's great. That's fantastic. So what do you think is going to be coming with Final Cut Pro in 2024? That's the basis of this live broadcast. But in any way, back to the DJI mic, do not... I think the version 1 did take TRRS or TRS. The new version does not. It's only TRS. So if you have a TRRS mic that you want to try, get a converter, TRRS to TRS. It works fine. Now, do I think that some of the people may have problems with their version of the DJI Mic 2? Of course, that's possible. Of course, that's possible. But like I said, I sent back 3 different Rode Wireless Go 2 microphones 3 separate times. It was very aggravating. And they fixed it, but finally. So I got this lapel mic. This is a Hollyland lapel. I really, really like it. It's not that much different than the microphone that's built in. It might be a little different, but here's what I like about it. DJI did a fantastic thing. They don't have a locking microphone connector on here. I don't have any locking microphones. I don't want a locking connector. Okay, I don't want one. So DJI did not do that, but they cleverly did this. They have a space behind the mic clip. It's hard to get that down, right? they have a space behind the mic clip that's dedicated specifically to running your lapel wire through it. And then you plug it in. Let me see if I can get that in there a little bit better. I just can't there. Where is that? There we go. So the lapel mic goes through the mic clip in a special compartment, and then it can't be pulled out. You don't need a locking connector. You don't need a locking connector. This is the way to go for the DJI mic. I don't want a locking connector. I find them to be a pain in the butt. So this is the way DJI has solved the problem. So I'm only going to get microphones that have a 90-degree connector because it works really, really well. It's not going to be pulled out. You can't pull it out. It doesn't pull out, period. So you don't need a locking connector. It's very, very clever that they did that. But anyway, I've done some tests with the Hollyland mic, and one of the reasons I got it is because, first off, Hollyland has a good reputation, and also it's $10 cheaper than the DJI mic. So I said, let me try it. It's fine. It works very good now. I'll probably get the DJI mic lapel as well. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. Hi, as always, from the Dominican Republic, Alexander. Thank you very much for tuning in. Who has coffee this morning? Is it morning everywhere? It's not morning everywhere. It is not morning everywhere. That's one thing we can be sure of. But we did get some snow. Here's the backyard. Look at this. Look at this. This is snow out there. We got I'd say about 3 inches overnight. It was here in the morning. I actually have a video. I went out and filmed some this morning. So what do we look at that? Thank you very much for the thumbs up. Fantastic. Fantastic. What are you expecting for 2020 and 2024? Number one is I'm expecting more features, and I'm not talking about just the Vision Pro. Adding spatial editing, Apple has already pre-announced that. Once again, people say Apple never gives us a roadmap. They do sometimes. They give us a roadmap sometimes. They've given us a roadmap for 2024. They have said that there's going to be spatial video editing added to Final Cut Pro. So they pre-announced it for 2024. That's one of the features. Thank you for the help this week with your recommendation that I bring my clip back in through QuickTime to get my video back. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. So what the deal is, whenever I get a video clip that is problematic in Final Cut Pro, I open it in QuickTime and export it, and then usually that will be fine in Final Cut Pro. I've had sometimes there's problems with some clips and they won't open up properly, so that's what I do. These are my new glasses, by the way. So they look like my old glasses. They look very similar. These are my glasses for reading and for traveling and for just general use. These specifically, I think they're silver, you can see, versus these are dark or some other kind of frame. These are specifically computer glasses. Here's what happened. These glasses, this prescription, this is 3 prescriptions and they're all progressive. Distance, supposed to be computer, and then reading. Well, the problem was the computer area was too small and the prescription wasn't the right prescription. They based the computer distance at 2 feet. My screens are 3 feet. Because I measured them this time before I went in. And I took a tape measure from where my eye sits to the screen, and it's 36 inches. So They were always doing it to focus at 2 feet. That's probably more typical, but I have a big desk and I sit here all the time at this 8 hours a day sometimes. So my distance is 3 feet. It's made the world of difference. Not only did they change the prescription, they made the prescription for the computer area bigger, much bigger. So I really can't, I shouldn't be driving with these because I have to look down like this to go to the top, and I shouldn't be, this is not really, is it room distance? Yeah, room distance is okay, room distance, but it's made, the main focus point is 3 feet, and typically they do 2 feet. 10:42 and rain in Florida every day. Thanks, El Nino. Thank you for the thumbs up. Not an FCP option only, but if Apple added Red RAW to Blackmagic RAW support to future versions of their decoders, they might even be better option for video editors with high-end needs. I thought Red had their own plugin for Final Cut. Is that not the case? I thought they developed their own. So the issue is, could Blackmagic make a plugin for Blackmagic RAW? Could they do that? I would think so, right? I certainly would think so. Just checking on the back here. It looks like it's windy. It is windy. What is the wind? 15 mile per hour winds out there. It's cold. It's cold. Hope for audio mixer with preview automation, MCU protocol support, and Atmos. Audio mixer is there. The audio mixer is in Final Cut. It just hasn't been released yet. I've heard from very reliable sources that the audio mixer is there. Red is available and works well. That's what I thought. Recently completed a 5K Red project. So that's what I thought. I thought it indeed was already there. They have a plugin. Red wrote it, Apple helped, whatever the heck the deal is. I'm not sure. But I have a new setup. So I do tutorial videos. I do videos when it's springtime and summertime. I do yard work with tractors, small tractors, and log splitters and leaf blowers, and I do all that. I have a brand new setup to film some of that stuff. I think the plugins are using the CPU and GPU parts of the SoC, not the encoders. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. So they have to update or modify the plugins. Gotcha. Gotcha. So, let's do this. This is one of the things. This is one of the things that, let me go over here and pull this from my notes. This is one of the things that I'm waiting for. The M4 MacBook Pro. That's one of the things I'm waiting for. I'm not sure when it's coming, but obviously it'll be coming. But I decided I'm not going to get the M3 unless I see it for a very, very steep discount. But I saw this, somebody posted online, the M4, what they thought the M4 is going to be. I figured I'd put it up there. I'll probably wait for the M4 for MacBook, but I might be getting, thank you very much for the thumbs up, I might be getting, in March, there's supposed to be an Apple event with new iPad Pros, so I might indeed be getting a new iPad. I haven't got an iPad for 4 years, 5 years. The last one I got was an iPad Air 2. And I just don't use it. I use it for some things, but if I'll get the biggest screen iPad Pro. It's got to be able to work off of external SSDs. I don't mean just copying files over. I mean, it has to be able to edit from my SSDs. I have 3 or 4 of them. And I went out and filmed this morning with my iPhone and an SSD. It's beautiful, beautiful work. Oh, look, that was a Alexander. I didn't even notice it just now. His comments from X. So X is working. Thank you very much. X is working. Facebook is working. I also have glasses specifically for working in front of the computer. I measured an arm's length. That's how far I moved the monitor. My eye strain virtually disappeared then when I got that prescription. I was using Final Cut Pro. Well, let me just show you real quick here what I have. Let me just show you what I have. I have this monitor. This is my monitor. It's a 34-inch monitor. Let me just check and make sure I'm coming to see what it looks like on the screen. It's an LG. I've had it for years. I think it's Thunderbolt 2. There we go. It's Thunderbolt 2. So right below me, you can see the audio levels. That's what I check for right here. Audio levels. I keep an eye out to make sure. Sometimes I make mistakes and I mute things and it's not coming through. But you can see your comments are coming from over here on this panel. And all I have to do is just click add to broadcast and they come over. But anyway, this monitor is a 34-inch LG monitor. It's been fine, not that expensive. I don't do sophisticated color correction on it or anything. It's been fine for me. I would not get anything bigger than this, 34 inches, because the problem is, so I'm sitting here and I look over this way and it's a different focal point. Look left and right's different focal point. So when I have Final Cut Pro open, the inspector window, which is all the way over to my right, sometimes a little blurry. So I would not get anything that's any bigger than 34 personally. But the thing is that what I used to do before I got these glasses is I would pull the Final Cut Pro main window closer to the center so the inspector wouldn't be that far away. So the inspector would not be that far away. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. It is appreciated. Is anybody else here going to NAB besides me? Is anybody going to NAB besides me? Now, here's what I'm waiting for. I haven't heard a thing about Final Cut Pro being anywhere at NAB once again. We're going to do maybe a coffee meetup, maybe a breakfast meetup. Maybe I might do a dinner. I'm not going to do it, but I'm going to schedule a dinner for Final Cut Pro people. Jim says, yes, NAB. Absolutely, Jim. Jim also is from X. Look at that. Fantastic. Jim's from X. So we have 2 comments from X this morning. So that's great. So those comments are working. We get comments from Facebook, lots of comments from YouTube, and comments from X. That's fantastic. So, well, you're watching the broadcast. As we get closer to it, in April, we'll talk about meetups, Final Cut Pro meetups at NAB. Is that mic delay? Let me see if that mic delay. Yeah, it's good. Mic delay. I am considering whether to buy a new iPad Pro in the biggest version and use it as a monitor when color grading or studio display an Apple Vision Pro when released in Denmark. So here's the thing. I was planning on getting a new MacBook Pro when the M3s come out, but I'll be honest with you. This 2021 MacBook Pro does fantastic for me. I'm not going to sell this because this connects to I have 2 legacy RAIDs. Thunderbolt 1 or Thunderbolt 2 legacy RAIDs. And the new MacBook Pros, they're not making drivers for those RAIDs anymore. One's a Promise and one is a G-Tech. They are not making drivers for them, as far as I know, for Sonoma. So I have to keep this MacBook Pro in order to access what's on those RAIDs. That's the main thing. Text-based editing, Final Cut Pro 2024. I would be shocked if we don't see text-based editing very soon in Final Cut Pro. I'm sure they've been working on it for a while. I mean, Premiere came out last NAB with it. Blackmagic Beta at NAB last year had text-based editing / auto captioning. So I'm sure Final Cut Pro team is working on that. I'm very sure they're working on that. Thank you for the thumbs up. It is appreciated. Thank you. The Vision Pro will not be used for color grading, and I will be using my 16-inch for color grading if I decided to buy the studio display. Well, I think the new studio display is there's going to be a new one. It's going to be cheaper, right? I think there should, I mean, it's been years since, 2019? Studio display came out, something like that. So when you talk about text-based editing, there's two things. There's text-based editing, which means you can highlight text and it'll select an in and out point in your media. In Resolve's case, you select the text, it selects the in and out point on your media file, and you can drop that into your timeline. You keep going through, drop it into your timeline. You can also select it and delete it, and it will delete. It won't delete it from the file, but it'll delete it if you're in the timeline. I think I'm not sure about that. But here's the second thing. Auto captions. They go hand in hand. They go hand in hand. Text-based editing and auto captions go hand in hand. Now, the reason I like the auto captions in DaVinci Resolve is they're all on a track, and you can select the track and adjust all of the captions. Just select the track. You can select the font. You can select the color. You can select the background. You can select the size of the font just by selecting the one track where the captions are. I really like that in DaVinci Resolve. But anyway, yes, I agree. I'd be shocked if we don't get auto caption in text-based editing in 2024. I think it'll be one of the next big ticket items. So here's the thing about the Vision Pro. I like the Vision Pro. I like it a lot. The more I see it, the more I like it. But I'm not going to be buying one. Not this version. At some version in the future, yes, I will. But this version, I am not going to be buying one. I mean, unless I came into a lot of money, I can't see myself getting one. So when the Final Cut Pro team adds spatial video editing to Final Cut Pro, it's only going to affect a very, very small minority of Final Cut Pro editors. Very small editors, very small amount. Not that it's not important, because the Vision Pro looks like it's pretty cool, but it's only a benefit to a small amount. But you get an audio mixer, large amount of people. You get text-based editing, large amount of people. You get auto captioning, it affects a large body of Final Cut Pro editors. Those are much, much more important than Vision Pro spatial video editing. By the way, we want to make sure that we welcome. Can I turn those on? Let me see if I can turn those on. Hearts. Oh, I can do that. Huh. What is this? Thank you for the thumbs up. It's appreciated. What is this one? Fireworks. There you go. This is all in Sonoma. But in any way, we want to make sure that we congratulate the Final Cut Pro team for doing a great job with 10.7. That's one of the main things we want to do. Congratulate the Final Cut Pro team for doing a great job with Final Cut Pro 10.7. But we want more. We're not saying to go take a nap. We're not saying to go on break. We want more features. Please continue like you did with 10.7 with those 4 features. Continue, continue, continue. As much as I want text-based editing in Final Cut Pro, if you ever worked with captions in Final Cut Pro, it brings Final Cut Pro to its knees, especially if you have a long project. See, I did not know that. I do all my captioning in DaVinci Resolve. And then I spit the project out, the video out with captions and bring it back in. For news script writing purposes, the Final Cut Pro team should create a feature to export the text-based editing transcript to a specific Pages document. That sounds like a good idea. That sounds like a good idea. Auto captions is a beta option in accessibility for those of you who live in the U.S. and Sonoma. It should work quite well and give you an idea of how it should work from Final Cut Pro when added. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised. I mean, Apple is so much into disability and stuff. New iPad Pros with Final Cut Pro for iPad updated has more room to grow. So yeah, of course they're going to update Final Cut Pro for iPad. I think they update the Final Cut Pro for iPad and Final Cut for the Mac. They're kind of updated at the same time. Now, I have no idea what's happening with Motion. Motion has been like for years, they call it it's like the redheaded stepchild. Is that the term? Oh, the Pro Apps team. I don't spend that much time in Motion. Occasionally I do. I'll go in and modify a title or something and create it, but I don't spend that much time. I spend a lot of time in Logic, which I absolutely love, and Final Cut, of course, which, once again, I really, really like it. So, let me just pull this up. Oh, that's that. We don't care about that. Let's do this. This is what I filmed this morning. I went outside at like 5 o'clock. So that's what it looked like around my house this morning. Eric says, everybody loves Motion, few use it. Yeah, I just don't have time to learn it that well. I'd rather the people that know it and really like it, I'd rather pay them. Like I always say, I pay Mark Spencer $15, $20, whatever, for a plug-in to let him work on it. I just don't. And our new friend, Brett FX, that I met at the Creative Summit, I had some of his plugins. We met there. We got along really well. So I like, and then some other motion master templates. That's another one that I really like. Leno FX is another one. Of course, Ripple Training. I let them do all the work in Motion and create the plugins. I'll stick to live streaming. Oh, by the way, let's go back here. I want to talk about this just for a second. There is my certificates. Now let's go here. Oh, this was something I'm very proud of. Take this off. So I became a YouTube partner. I figured, what the heck? I get people watching these things. I was surprised. I was surprised about something. When I went to check, I signed up for this. I'm now a YouTube partner. And that's because of you coming in and watching these on Saturdays. I have a lot of viewers. I have almost 500,000 views on YouTube. Almost 500,000. We're like 465,000, something like that. And I was pleasantly surprised about that. Okay, if I'm getting that many views, I'll go ahead and get some maybe coffee money or bagel money for whatever. So I became a partner. So here's the deal. I have over 500,000 views. I have about 500,000 views on YouTube, but I also have hundreds of thousands of views on Facebook, like this stream, and on X. So between YouTube and those two platforms, I probably have 700 to 800,000 views so far. So that's pretty darn cool. I'm really proud of that. On top of that, I have 2 podcasts. My main podcast is Final Cut Pro Radio. And between the 2 podcasts, I have over 2 million downloads. Over 2 million downloads. So between the podcast and YouTube and Facebook and X, I'm approaching 3 million downloads / views. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. You're getting commercials? Oh, I didn't. Oh man, that's a pain. I might turn those off for the live streams. I might just turn them off. They're probably turned on by default, but there's other things that happens as well. There's other things that happen. I get an email. If I have a problem, I can email somebody and some other things. So I figured, what the heck, I didn't know I had that many downloads. To be honest with you, I didn't know I had almost 500,000 on YouTube. Didn't know that. So text-based editing, auto captions. Let me turn that thing off. Text-based editing, auto captions, roles-based mixer. Those are 3 things I'd like to see in 10.7 in the next year. Vision Pro, spatial video editing, it's not going to affect me. It's not going to affect me. I'm not going to be, I didn't know about that. I've gotten 2 commercials during this so far. So 2 commercials in an hour. I have to, listen, I'm going to turn those off or modify them somehow. I don't want commercials interrupting the live stream. That's not what I'm doing this for. I don't know. Is it just for the live stream or after the live stream's over? I mean, during the live stream, I really don't want to run commercials. So I'll modify that for next week. But after the live stream's over, if people play the video back, I don't care so much if commercials are during that point, but I really don't want them during the live stream. I'll turn them off for next week. Somebody remind me on one of the Facebook groups we belong to, but I'll go back and turn them off next week. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. It's fantastic. Let me just take a little screen grab of that so I have it for my collection. In any event, the next things that are coming up, we have the Apple event in March with the new iPad Pro, maybe a new version of Final Cut Pro at that point. The one good thing about the iPad Pro is, the iPad version of Final Cut, is when they update the iPad version, they're almost certainly going to update the Mac version. I can't see them leaving either one or the other behind, lagging behind. So either one will trigger the other update. That's what I'm pretty sure is going to happen. Let me just go over here and check something. There we go. Yeah, I'm really pleased that we get comments from X now. Haven't seen any commercials during the YouTube live streams before, but not during. Do not know if it's different on Facebook. I did not sign up for monetization on Facebook. I don't even know how to do that. I have no idea. I mean, YouTube contacted me 6 months ago and said I'm now eligible for monetizing live streams. Here's the thing with me. I would rather my viewers, this community, support me by buying me a coffee. $5, $10. Some people buy 5 coffees. One person bought, I think it was Don, bought 10 coffees for appreciation for my coverage at 10.7 in the Creative Summit. So I'd rather have support there. So then I'll turn I don't want the commercials interrupting the live stream. If they're 5 minutes, 5 seconds, or 10 seconds, that's one thing. If they're 30 seconds, no. I don't want them interrupting the live stream. So I'm gonna turn them off next show. I'll get a new iPad Pro. I usually do. It's great for red camera control and monitoring. That's a good point. I like the idea of monitoring. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. It is appreciated. It is appreciated. So if I keep checking for 10.7.2, Final Cut 10.7.2 during the week, and if it comes up, that would be great. Now, I am expecting here's one other thing I'm going to talk about real quick before we go. Well, we're not going yet. Just let's do this. So I'm now a YouTube partner. We'll turn that off. Oh, it's over there. Here we go. This is something I'd like to see in Final Cut as well. And this came up because I saw it on LumaFusion this week in one of their tutorials. And that is this master timeline overview. If you can see it, like in the viewer window, where they always have the entire view of the timeline, no matter what the main timeline is zoomed into, no matter where you are in the main timeline, this master version is always visible under the viewer. You can navigate in it. You can select an in and out point. If you want to copy and paste something, you can slide in the case of LumaFusion, you can slide your finger or pencil along and the timeline will follow. I call it a master timeline overview. I've seen it called different things, but I'd really like to see this in Final Cut Pro. Now, the interesting thing is that the 2016, remember the 2016 MacBook Pro? Remember that? And they had the touch bar instead of the F keys? They had one there. They had one there. So they've already developed it for Final Cut Pro. It wouldn't have been in the MacBook Pro. But I'd like to see it on the screen where you can take your mouse and you can either click in a place, set an in and out point, or just navigate where you want, and the other timeline will follow along. I'd really, really like that. Good idea, master timeline. It's like an overview. Agree, master timeline would be welcome. Timeline index is a poor substitute. It's different. Yeah, timeline index, you can't see the entire timeline. You can only see a little bit in the window. The entire timeline is always visible. No matter what your zoom level is in your main timeline, no matter where you are in your main timeline, your entire timeline is always visible in that master overview. Soundtrack Pro had one. Soundtrack Pro had that. So we know the Final Cut Pro team knows how to do it. And I would be suspicious if it wasn't already there. I think it's already there. They haven't turned it on yet. You know, they're going to put out, they used to put out a whole dozens of features when they put out a full number update. They stopped doing that with 10.5, 10.6, and now 10.7. 10.7 had it with nice features. I really liked the scrolling timeline. And it was 4 or 5 features, new features that in 10.7. And the rest of the features of 10.7 will be coming out during the life cycle of 10.7. We're only 3 months into the life cycle of 10.7. Only 3 months. It came out the ended last day of November. So December, January, February, we're not even 3 months into 10.7 yet. So I expect, intuition-wise, that we're going to see an update for NAB, feature update, more than just Vision Pro. Vision Pro can be included, Vision Pro editing, I mean. But I expect to see 10.7.2 or whatever they're going to call it. They could do 10.7.2 as a bug fix, and then 10.7.3 comes out. I don't know what they call it. I do expect features to be out by any time between now and NAB. But I would say Apple's having an event in March. They're going to introduce a new iPad Pro. That's probably the one that I'd be looking at. I don't know if you have an iPad Pro from last year, from 2022, can you edit off of an SSD when it's attached? I know you can drag files, but from what LumaFusion said, the only phone that does that is the iPhone 15 Pro Max, which means native editing off the SSD. So in other words, I'm not dragging files from the SSD to my iPad to edit. I'm editing natively on the SSD. I don't know. I know the iPad Pros connect to USB-C and they can connect to an SSD, but I don't know if you can edit directly off the SSD. Once that becomes available, I will consider getting an iPad Pro. And here's the deal. So I'll probably get the top end one, the one that you know, whatever the top end, but I'm not going to get 2 terabyte SSD on it. I'll get 500 or 1 terabyte because I have these little teeny SSDs that I absolutely love. This is USB SSD. It's a Crucial. Look how small it is. Here's the old Samsung. Look at this, how small it is compared to the Samsung. It's smaller. So I love these SSDs. 4 terabytes. This is 4 terabytes. And I can record the Crucial. Get the 9, don't get the 10 if you want to use it on the iPhone. I don't know why, but the 10 doesn't work like the 9 works better on the iPhone. So I can record. I don't need, if I can edit off of these things, I don't need to have large storage on my iPad. 512 or at the most 1 terabyte. And everything else is going to be on these. I have 2 of these. I really like these. I got them on sale during last fall, Thanksgiving Black Friday sale or something. 4 terabytes, I think they were $168 on sale, something like that. So I got 2 of them. I didn't think I'd like scrolling timeline as much as I do. I know it's addictive. Once you have it, you'll go, a year from now, you'll go, once you use it, you'll go, how did we ever not have this? Well, we didn't have it for 12 years. We didn't have it for 12 years. But anyway, text-based editing, auto captions, at some point, a audio-based roles mixer or whatever they're going to do with that, and an master overview timeline that would be fantastic. Those are just some of the things I'd like to see in 2024. I expect we're going to be getting new features in 2024. We've just started 10.7. We're at 10.7.1. The 0.1 was an update, was a bug fix update. And I love my MacBook Pro. It's powerful. It's got three monitors, the MacBook Pro, two other monitors, the one I showed you earlier, and I have another one over here to the side. And I like the idea of having my main monitor here, but I can look down at my MacBook Pro monitor as well. I like that. If I had a Mac Mini, I wouldn't have that MacBook Pro monitor. So I think, personally, I think I'm going to stick with MacBook Pros going forward, but I'm probably going to wait for the M4, whatever that is, next year, whatever. And even then, when I went to price an M3, we're talking over $5,000 again. You know, that's a lot of money. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, maybe I'll get an M3 if I see them on sale or a good price for a refurb. But I'm thinking instead of getting the M3, I'll get the iPad Pro. Does that sound okay? Do you think that's a good idea? I don't use the iPad Pro that much, but I wouldn't mind having a bigger screen. I wouldn't mind the ability to, edit off of as long as I can edit off the SSD, like the iPhone. The iPhone, you can. The iPhone, LumaFusion edits off the iPhone. I love that. I can record with the Blackmagic camera app directly to the SSD. So that's what I really like about it. But you can edit with LumaFusion on the iPhone directly from the SSD. No transferring of video. As a matter of fact, if you plug in your SSD and set up a library, a project on there, and you unplug the SSD, when you go back to LumaFusion, it says, hey, this project is on an external SSD. If you want to work on it, you have to plug it back in. So the media is not transferred to the phone. It's entirely on the SSD, and it works off the SSD with USB 3 speeds are fast enough to work off of. So that makes the iPad more attractive to me. So I'm thinking I'm not going to get the MacBook Pro this year. I'll get the iPad Pro instead. Next year, I might update my MacBook Pro. But I'm telling you, this 2021 MacBook Pro is doing fantastic. I got the top of the line everything. I got Max. I didn't get the top line SSD. I got the 4 terabyte, not the 8. But everything else, GPU, CPU, I got the best that they had. Command Post used to have the timeline in the viewers. Is it gone now? It could be. Brett, I've used Command Post on and off, but I don't use it. So I don't know. But once again, as I said in the Facebook group, when I talk about these features, I want them native in Final Cut Pro. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. It's appreciated. I want them native in Final Cut Pro. I'm not talking about third-party apps that add a feature that Final Cut Pro should have, an industry standard feature like a scrolling timeline. For years, people said, oh, Command Post has a scrolling timeline. We don't need it in Final Cut Pro. Baloney. That's a bunch of hooey. We absolutely needed it. The Final Cut Pro team agreed, and they put it in there. Dupe detection. We didn't have it for years. I don't know if any third-party app put it in. I don't want the third-party apps. They can do it until Final Cut gets it, but I want these features native. Now, I'm not talking about all the third-party apps that have fantastic titles, fantastic transitions, fantastic generators. I'm not talking about that. I don't want Final Cut Pro to have all these different titles and transitions and generators. That's good area for third-party apps. I'm talking about basic, universal, well-established features that other NLEs have. A mixer. Now they all have text-based editing. Look, a year ago at NAB, Premiere got it, Blackmagic has it. Final Cut's the only, of the 4 majors, Final Cut's the only one that doesn't have it. So I do expect it to come in. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. Would be wild if they added Sora-like module to Final Cut Pro. Yeah, at some point we're going to see something like that. But that's really cool for like 1 minute, 2 minute videos. And I certainly would, once it becomes easier, I don't even know how to do the prompts. I don't know how to do that. Becomes easier, I certainly would play around with it. But I like creating. I like editing, getting my hands on. For example, when I was in high school, I was a painter. I painted oil paintings, watercolors, pen and ink. I like creating with my hands. So just speaking prompts and making something is not the same. I like the process of editing, and I like Final Cut the best because it's the most intuitive to me. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. It's the most intuitive to me for editing video, especially since I got the scrolling timeline. Weird you cannot edit from the M1 and M2 iPad Pros considering they have Thunderbolt. That's what I thought. I didn't think you can because LumaFusion says the only device that you can do it on. Well, here's the thing. The new iPhone has some kind of a USB controller chip in it. And I think that's what it is. It's the USB controller chip that the iPhone 15 has that the iPad Pros do not have. That's what I think the difference is. So I do expect that in the new iPad Pros. I do expect you'll be able to edit from an SSD. Directly from the SSD, you don't got to copy media to your hard drive. I just looked it up. Apparently, Final Cut Pro removed a hidden timeline and viewers function in 10.4.9, and they were just enabling the actual, I see, okay, they were actually enabling timeline and viewers. Very, very interesting. If LumaFusion has editing off SSD, surely Final Cut Pro on iPad will too. No, I don't think, well, first off, Final Cut doesn't work on the iPhone. Okay, that's number one. LumaFusion does. And I think, this is my understanding, I could be wrong, but this is my understanding. Well, I know for a fact that the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max has a USB-specific controller chip, a USB controller chip that no other Apple device has. And I think that's the difference. So it's not a matter of Final Cut Pro versus LumaFusion. It's a matter of what hardware you have. Since Final Cut Pro does not work on the iPhone, and I don't ever expect it to be on the iPhone, I'd be shocked if they could get it the way LumaFusion has on the iPhone. That would be shocking to me. But it's the USB-C chip, I think, that makes the difference. So only the iPhone has it. So the iPads don't have it, but I do expect the new iPad Pro to have that USB-C chip. So therefore, you will be able to edit off an SSD, not copy the files back and forth. So this morning I went out, that movie I played for you, the snow movie, I hooked up my phone, SSD, and it's a joy to come back and not have to copy files from the phone. I don't have to launch Image Capture. I don't have to launch iMazing. I don't have to go into the Finder. I just unplug the SSD from the phone, plug it into my Mac, copy the files directly off the SSD to different places as a backup. I love that feature. Yep, I believe you, Brett. Brett says the reason they put it in because they took it out. Well, that's the problem with enabling things they don't want enabled. I see. It wasn't they just turned it on. Once again, the scrolling timeline's there. It's been in Final Cut all along. Final Cut 10 all along. I don't know about dupe detection, but there's also a roll-space audio mixer in Final Cut. It's there. They just haven't turned it on yet. say hi to the Final Cut Pro team. They like to watch these videos because we talk about them. That's very, very cool. So that's good to know. That's good to know. They turned it on. There was something they turned on in Final Cut. Very, very cool. Now, Brett Williams from Brett FX, he makes plugins that I heartily endorse. I use a lot of his plugins. I use them all the time. Brett, did you get Vision Pro? You have your picture. Your new picture has Vision Pro. Did you get a Vision Pro? I didn't know you were into that. I'll be curious on how that's working for you. So one of the things that there's 3 ways that I can see that Final Cut Pro and Vision Pro are going to work together. Number 1 is the way it works now, which is just instead of displaying on your MacBook Pro, you're displaying Final Cut Pro on the Vision Pro instead of it's just a display extension. You can still edit and things, touching and grabbing in the Vision Pro, but that's just the extension of your MacBook Pro display. Number 2 is if there's an actual at some point, Apple's already said, they've already said Final Cut Pro is going to be able to edit spatial video for playback on the Vision Pro. So that's the second way that Final Cut Pro and Vision Pro can work together. The third way is they develop specifically a Vision Pro Final Cut Pro app that runs specifically on the Vision Pro. Now, when they do, if and when they do that, I don't know if they are. If and when they do that, my question is, where's the media live? I'm not going to be bringing terabytes of media into a Vision Pro anytime soon. So if you work off of a MacBook, is it wirelessly connected to your media? I mean, if they develop an app version for the Vision Pro, I'm not saying they are. I don't know. Brett says, I demoed it at the Apple Store last night. And that's when you took your pictures. Everybody thinks that you're money bags and can put out $4,000 or whatever it is, $3,500 plus tax for the Vision Pro. Look, if I was independently wealthy, I'd buy a pair. I don't care that a better version is coming out. A better version of everything is always coming out. A better version of Final Cut Pro is coming out. A better version of the MacBook Pro is coming out. A better version of an iPhone is coming out. That's always the case. If I had lots of money, I would go ahead and buy the Vision Pro. I've been very, very impressed with them. All the videos that I've seen, I've been very, very impressed. Who has a pair? Who has a Vision Pro? Brett just has a picture of himself with it. What did you think of it, Brett? You said you used it in the Apple Store. What did you think of it? I just had third commercial this morning. Okay, I'm going to turn them off. I'm going to turn them off for the live streams. I don't know. How long are the commercials? How long are they? Maybe they're 5 seconds or something? I wonder if they're going to play back on the playback version of this. I don't know. Don't know how that works. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. Thank you for tuning in as usual. So, do I expect 10.7.2 this week? I expect it any time. I expect that they would maximize the effectiveness of putting out a feature update closer to NAB. Or if they do the Apple event in March, I expect it'll be mid to late March. NAB is the middle of April, so if they do the Apple event if they do the Apple event in late March, it'll be just a couple weeks for NAB. First one was 10 seconds. The second and third were 5 seconds before having to press skip. Thank God they're only 5 seconds or 10 seconds. That would be very annoying. I guess I'm earning, am I earning money? I guess I'm earning money. Pennies. But I mean, I don't mind. Imagine if I'd been earning money on 500,000 views. I would have enough money for 2 Starbucks coffees, $5-10. It isn't that much. You don't make that much. Not until you get into the multi-million views. And like I said, I don't even know how to do Facebook. I have no idea. But I'd prefer buymeacoffee.com. Go there and support me. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Subscribe here to the YouTube channel. Tell your friends about Final Cut TV and Coffee on Saturday mornings. We'll get more of the community here. Usually we get 500, 600, 700 views over a period of a week or so. And then we get Facebook and X views as well. So what is this? Oh, here we go. Final Cut Pro groups / Final Cut Pro 10.7. That's one of them. We also have Final Cut Radio TV. We also have Final Cut Pro Tips and Tricks. They got over 12,000 members. Final Cut Pro TV and Radio has over 2,000 members. Final Cut Pro 10.7 has over 300. We just started, so. 25 minutes in, I could have left it on forever. I didn't find it heavy. I found the pass-through near reality and immersive mode will blow your mind. Spatial video was nuts. I didn't find it fatiguing at all, but us editors might be a different breed. That's true. I mean, like I said, I like them. Big thumbs up to the Vision Pros, but I have to budget my money. My Mac money. So this year, I think 2024, like I said, I got the new DJI Action 4 camera coming. I got a refurb unit for $239. That shall be coming within a week or two, and I'll have it in time for NAB. I want it for NAB especially. And I get an iPhone every year. I'll get the 16 when that comes out for sure. As long as it's something in the video department that's been improved or better or faster, whatever. Waiting for the 3rd gen Vision SE, right. I understand. That's probably what I'll do as well, wait for a different version, but it's the same with the MacBooks, the same with the phones, the same with the iPads. You can always wait for the next gen, but at some point, you'll probably want to dive in. So that's what I'm thinking right now. I'm not diving into the Vision Pro because I just don't have a need for them. But I really like them. What I've seen, all the YouTube, and people can record what they're watching inside is pretty cool. But if I was sitting here, I don't think I would edit on them because I like my MacBook a lot. I like my screens the way I have them. I don't see any real advantage to editing on a Vision Pro versus I have a touchpad and I have my Magic Mouse. And I have 2 keyboards and I have a Stream Deck and Apollo Twin X. I really like editing there. So what is your bet? When are we going to see 10.7.2? Who has an idea about that? Coffee, everybody? So here's the schedule of things in the next few months for Final Cut Pro. Number 1, Apple event in March. So within a month or so, we're going to likely have an Apple event. The second thing that's going to happen is WWDC. Oh, I'm sorry. Second thing is NAB in April. Don't know if it's going to have anything to do with Final Cut. I'm going to be there looking for Final Cut stuff, reporting on anything Final Cut Pro related, plus a couple of other things. I don't know what else hardware-wise. There'll probably be something new there that I'll be interested in. I got the DJI mic too, so I don't care about that. I have it. I got the Panasonic Lumix S5 Mark IIX, so I really don't care about a camera at this point. I upgraded from the 12 Pro Max to the 15 Pro due to the faster SSD transfer speed. The ability to connect an SSD and ProRes log was an unexpected bonus. I'm happy that the next iPhone, both of those are, Apple ProRes log to me, is the best feature. It's fantastic. I film in it almost all the time. Not all the time, but if you're going to film in an Apple ProRes log, the iPhone, the native camera app, only can record in ProRes. What is it? ProRes. It's not regular ProRes. It's the step up from regular ProRes, as far as I remember. But if you get the Blackmagic camera app, which is a fantastic app, and it's free. It's free. Thank you, Grant Petty and team. It's free. You can record in H.264, H.265, and all 4 flavors of ProRes. Proxy, LT, regular ProRes, ProRes HQ. That's what it is, ProRes HQ. I think the phone app records only ProRes log in ProRes HQ. I don't think you can even go down to regular ProRes. You have to film it in ProRes HQ so far. Now, that may change, but that's what it is so far. So I don't record Apple log in ProRes HQ unless something quick. I open up the Blackmagic camera app and I record in ProRes LT. That's plenty good quality for me. And sometimes I might even record in ProRes H.265. ProRes log in H.265. Have improved lenses and sensors for the ultra-wide and the tele. Yes, absolutely. So, yeah, I'll be getting the 16 in September when it comes out in time for, exactly what I do. ProRes HQ, but I'm recording in LT via the Blackmagic camera app. Thank you. I remember when Blackmagic had their live stream talking about new products coming out, I was texting back and forth with my friend Brad Olson from Off the Tracks. We're co-editors on that. And we were watching. I said, did you just see that, a camera app? And I'm thinking, please don't be a subscription. Please don't be a subscription. By the way, Final Cut Pro team, don't even think about making Final Cut Pro for the Mac a subscription. You want to get in some trouble? Don't do that. I'm trying to save you some trouble. You know we don't want it. We've told you we don't want it in person. Do not do that. But anyway, make it as an option perhaps at the most, but don't make Final Cut Pro on the Mac a subscription. Thank you for the thumbs up. It's appreciated. I have added the Blackmagic Cam Action to my Magic Button. Me too. It's a fantastic, fantastic free camera app for your iPhone. It's just really, really good. You don't have to worry about Filmic Pro anymore. I don't even know, is Filmic Pro going to even be at the NAB? They were there last year, and I wasn't fond of their subscription model last year, and I've been vocal about it. They lowered the price from $49 to $19 last August. So I said, okay, $19, I'll do that for 1 year, $19. They haven't had any major updates since then, maybe one. So the $19 was kind of wasted. And then right after that, the Blackmagic camera app came out. So you don't need Filmic Pro. They fire the whole team. They fire the parent company that bought them, fired the entire team. They went to subscription. Bending Spoons, that's who they are. Thumbs down for Bending Spoons. Whatever company you are, you just ruined a really, really good product. Now, I don't like Filmic Pro for a number of reasons. Number one is you can't, once you start recording, you can't switch lenses. The Blackmagic camera app, not only can you switch lenses while you're recording, all 4 lenses, you can also switch cameras to the front and back camera while you're recording. Filmic Pro is a 5-step process. It's 5 steps. Stop recording. Go to the menu, open the menu up for the lenses. Choose the lens. Close the menu. You have to close the menu and then start recording again. So every time in Filmic Pro, it takes 5 clicks while you're recording to change a lens. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Blackmagic camera app, you pull up the lens menu and they all stay right on screen. You can even switch the front and the back camera without stopping to record. The native camera app does the same thing. You can't switch front and back cameras, but you can switch to any of the other cameras available in the native camera app while you're recording. Only Filmic Pro has a 5-step process to switch camera lenses once you start recording. Ridiculous, Filmic Pro. I don't know what the heck you're doing after all this time, but it's ridiculous, clunky, and I do that all the time. I always switch lenses when I'm recording. Always. So, all right. Any other comments before we wrap this up for today? Final Cut TV and Coffee. I will be going to NAB. I'm getting my schedule straightened out. And I'll be looking for the Apple event. 10.7.2 could be coming out at any time, but I suspect it'll be closer to the Apple event in March or NAB. I still haven't heard if there's going to be any Apple events at NAB. I don't know for a fact. Haven't heard anything, which probably means no, but we could get a surprise. There is going to be a super meet. Dan Berube says there is going to be a super meet. So that's very cool, because the last time the super meet in 2022, we didn't have one in 2023. There were a lot of Final Cut Pro people there. There was a dozen or so. So we got to meet up and talk there. That's on Monday night, NAB Monday. NAB starts Sunday morning at 10 o'clock, Monday morning at 9 o'clock, Tuesday morning at 9 o'clock, and Wednesday is pretty much a ghost town, but they still open for half the day. They're open from 9 to like 2 o'clock, something like that. All right, everyone, what do you think? Final Cut Pro 10.7.2 coming up shortly? I think it will be. I want to thank each and every one of you for watching these streams, coming here on Saturday mornings. If there's any event, Final Cut Pro event, if there's any Final Cut Pro update, I'll be back live. I have a couple, 2 or 3 special guests that I'll be bringing on a Final Cut Pro TV, not in coffee. Coffee's between us. But I'll be bringing some special guests over the next 6 weeks. During the week, probably 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoons. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. You know this is Final Cut TV and Coffee. Go over there on Facebook, and you can join our group, Final Cut TV Radio, Final Cut Pro 10.7, Final Cut Pro Tips and Tricks. We're going towards 13,000 members over there. And, of course, follow me, Final Cut TV and Coffee. Tom Dean says thank you. Thank you, Tom. Thank you for tuning in. We're here every Saturday at 10 o'clock so far. I might have to miss 1 or 2 Saturdays. I don't know. But I'm going to thank each and every one of you for having me almost almost 500,000 views on YouTube and stuff. It's fantastic. You're the best audience, Final Cut Pro audience, of anybody. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, Tom. See you next time, Saturday, if not before. If you subscribe over there at YouTube, don't forget to subscribe. You'll be notified whenever we go live. If there's an update to Final Cut Pro, I will be going live. Everybody, Ernest White says, we thank you. Absolutely. You want to thank me also? You can go over there at buymeacoffee.com/Richard Taylor. Buy me a coffee. I'm going to save all my coffee money from here going forward. It's all being saved for NAB. I'll be doing a lot of coffee over there to keep going. It's a lot of work running around NAB and checking things out, but I will be there. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. Everybody, thank you. You're the best. You're absolutely the best. Best Final Cut Pro audience in the world. See everybody next week, if not sooner.